Good evening. A horrifying attack on the streets of London. Two Jewish men, a 76-year-old and a 34-year-old, are tonight in hospital after being stabbed in Golders Green this morning. The suspect, a 45-year-old man, also attempted to stab police officers before he was tasered and arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. The mayor has condemned what happened as disgusting. The Prime Minister says an attack on our Jewish communities is an attack on Britain. It's now being treated as a terrorist incident and comes after a string of anti-Semitic attacks. The boss of the Met was heckled and called on to quit as he spoke at the scene earlier. The grim reality tonight for many Jewish Londoners who say they simply do not feel safe in the capital. From Golders Green, our correspondent Simon Harris, and a warning: his report contains scenes you may find distressing.
This was the terror attack London's Jewish community predicted and feared. Two men were stabbed in the street in Golders Green. A CCTV camera captured the moment the attacker ran along a pavement and lunged at a Jewish man walking in the opposite direction. At a bus stop further along the road, a man in his 70s was attacked close to a pizza shop where Tariq works.
The guy who's stabbed on the neck, he came to next to our shop door, and then I helped him out. We helped the guy bleeding, the left side was all blood around, and we just tried to help, and an ambulance arrived.
Hello! The attacker was filmed running along Golders Green Road by a group of Jewish men in a car who shouted warnings to other people on the pavements.
We go after him and we try to save the people. We scream, be careful, there's someone here.
I just heard horrendous screaming. I looked out my window and I see a lady, a young mother like me, running up the road pushing a buggy. She looked absolutely terrified.
By now, police have arrived. They approach the suspect, but quickly retreat, sprinting back towards their cars. They're carrying tasers, but haven't yet used them. More units! The attacker was eventually tasered in the street after trying to stab police officers, although none of them were injured. Scotland Yard said a 45-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. That too was filmed. The suspect ends up on the ground and rolls over. Officers shouted him to drop the knife before kicking his head.
These were not armed officers, and they feared that he was carrying an explosive device. Using only their training, their courage and their tasers, they managed to detain him whilst they continued to try and attack and stab them. They will tell you they were simply doing their jobs, but without their bravery, I dread to think what the outcome would have been.
But shortly after delivering that statement, the Commissioner was on the receiving end of angry shouts calling for his resignation.
Have you failed?
The local Labour MP was also heckled.
I want to say my thanks to not just the police, but our first responders, the Hatzalah, the Shomrim, who intervened, even worse things happening.
Today's attacks happened one street away from where a Jewish charity's ambulances were torched last month.
We're just getting scared. You know, I know people who are scared to go to pray in synagogue because they're worried something can happen. It's, you know, But
the writing's been on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, and it will escalate because our government
do nothing.
They don't take it seriously, and the perpetrators just get emboldened.
But the mayor said he acknowledged the fears felt by Jewish Londoners.
We've seen over the last few weeks Londoners scared because they are Jewish. And what the community will see over the course of the next few days is additional police officers in and around the community, but more support and solidarity from non-Jewish Londoners as well.
Tonight, police said the man arrested had a history of violence and mental health issues. Simon Harris, ITV News, Golders Green.
But first, with less than a week to go until the local elections in Thurrock, the battle for control of the council is shaping up to be one of the most closely watched. With finances stretched after a series of questionable investments and council tax bills rising, voters are heading to the polls with real concern about the cost of living. Reform UK is looking for big gains, arguing the main parties have failed the borough. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
The winds of change have already blown through Thurrock. In 2024, voters elected an MP from Reform UK. Now Nigel Farage's party has set its sights on taking control of the council. In a cafe in Grays, Elizabeth hasn't decided yet who to vote for, but the cost of living is her main concern.
The inflation costs and everything rising up, and then pay is not enough, so it's kind of like we have to figure out how to sort out our bills, how to sort out our council tax.
Dan knows exactly where he's placing his cross on May the 7th.
I'll be voting for Nigel, the reform protest vote mainly about immigration in this country.
Thurrock sits on the north bank of the Thames. Tilbury Docks was once a major employer. Today it's the giant Amazon warehouse. Residents here have been buffeted by big council tax bills ever since the local authority went bust in 2022. The Conservatives were in charge when the council ran up debts of more than £1 billion after a series of disastrous investments, including in solar energy. Since 2024, Labour has been in control. The Conservatives were in charge when the council went bust. Why should voters trust you again?
There's no doubt that lessons have been learned. But when that happened, I can assure you that there were several councillors from all over, from each side, that were fully aware of the...
So you're blaming others?
No, I'm not. They were fully aware of the investments that went on, but there's no getting away from it. It happened under our watch.
Reform UK believes it's time for a change and that the Conservatives and Labour have proved themselves unworthy. Why would Reform, with no experience of running the council, be any better at managing the finances?
Because we will go in and look at under the bonnet of the council. We will look at the contracts that are being run. We aren't going to go in, we're not experienced councillors, but we'll go in with fresh eyes.
Labour argues it's trying to stabilise the council's finances, but admits it faces a strong challenge from Reform UK. How unpopular is Sir Keir Starmer on the doorsteps?
That's an interesting question. He doesn't come up all that much. We're talking about local politics. We're talking about the issues that matter to people. When I ask people what your main concerns, they'll tell me things like cost of living. You know, they'll tell me things around their energy bills.
In a closely fought local election, turnout could be decisive. Will you vote in the election next week?
Yes, I will. I always did, yeah.
No.
Why not?
I've never voted.
Are you going to vote next week?
Yeah, I'm going to vote.
Have you decided how?
No, not yet.
Have you decided if you'll vote next week?
Yeah, I always vote.
Essex has proved fertile territory for Reform UK. This part of the country is very much a three-way contest. Simon Harris, ITV News, Tilbury.